Good evening. Welcome to another episode of MXDTV. This is episode 27. Can you believe it? 27 times I've done this. We've done this. So it's good to be here tonight. Great. Okay, my executive producer is weighing in. She says it looks great. Thank you, Melanie. And all right, well, we're just going to get right to it. I've made a vow to cut to the chase tonight. So, play a couple songs, and this first one is an old breakup song of mine called "Asleep in a Cave." Asleep in a cave, I've been here for days. Don't know which song to sing or how to set you free. Asleep in a cave, I've been here for days. Don't know which song to sing or how to set you free. From the nightmare's child, high wire wires that you climb, and the way that you scared me the most was when you smiled. And you sang the same thing to me, no matter how hard you tried to save this symphony. And you played a silent reverie each and every time you tried to rescue me. From the nightmare's child, high wire wires that you climbed, and the way that you scared me the most was when you smiled. Now I know it's time to quit this ruined verse that we rehearsed and we tried to make it rhyme. We never made it rhyme. Well, I promised I wouldn't play the harmonica too loud, but I made a promise to myself, but I broke it. And I started playing it kind of loud. That's just how it goes. I feel like doing the live stream is always a challenge of trying to learn how to play a little quieter. So that's what I'm doing, but it never really works out. Looks like John Light's here. Oh, pal John Light. Mark, exclamation point. Hey, John, what's up, man? Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I never play the harmonica on the live stream, but I kind of felt moved to do so tonight. I was skating around. I was practicing some other songs that I might try. But I was kind of skating around these songs, and I just came back to them. This is a little song called "Feed the Saints." I shall not be moved from this here counter. I will not be told that I can't stay. I will not be made to sit in silence. I am not afraid. I shall not be burned with sticks of fire. And I know why the hooded hide their face, even though they hate. I, my father, I refuse to hate. God comes pouring down to heal the faithful and to feed the saints and to grace the graceless. And I shall not be moved from this place. And I shall not be made to work 4 hours. I will not be pulled apart that way. I will not earn cancer for your dollars, 'cause I am not a slave. And I shall not be moved from love's table. Even though you take away my plate, I will eat the bread of life, my brother. But even though you hate, the blood of God comes pouring down, faithful and feed the saints and grace the graceless. And I shall not be moved from this place. And I shall not be moved from this place. And I shall not be moved from this place. Back to Sullivan Street. Past the water, home through the town. past the shadows, fall down wherever we meet. Pretty soon now, she won't come around. Okay, this is going to be tricky. I didn't rehearse the removal of the harmonica harness. I'm going to have to take my headphones off for a moment. All right. That wasn't so bad, was it? Well, I'm glad I played the harmonica. I wasn't sure if I should or would, but I did, and I'm happy I did. Let's see, my good pal Jason is here. Marvelously Quiet. That's the name of my new punk rock band. Oh, now I see you getting back to bass. That's right. John, Eric, good old pals. Oh, this is Eric Squindo. Eric, thanks for being here tonight. And Eric Squindo, I've mentioned many times before, and I'll mention it again, is a local musician here in Woodstock and one of my best friends. The first guy I ever played a show with here in town. And not only is Eric a great songwriter and a really good friend of mine, but he's also a generous spirit and a gatherer of musicians. And forgive me, Eric, I don't know the date offhand, but it's coming up in a couple of weeks. Eric's doing another one, Eric Squindo production of, he does these great tribute shows. He puts them together, he curates them, he gets all the artists together, he helps us, let's see. Give me the date, would you, Eric? Anyway, he's doing a Harry Nilsson tribute show in a couple weeks. And I have the good fortune of being, here it is, 9/22. It's a Thursday night. So we won't do MXDTV in a couple weeks. We'll be at the Harry Nilsson show, Eric and I. So there you have it. Harry Nilsson, one of the great songwriters of our time. So anyway, thanks everybody for being here. This is episode 27 of MXDTV. I've been, I've been hitting the treadmill pretty hard and eating less. And so I'm a little subdued this evening. I'm pretty tired. So if it seems like I might pass out, you're right. I might pass out. The subject tonight seems to be of a spiritual nature for some reason. And the way paths cross and the way God or the lack of a God operates in our lives. I'm going to read you this great poem by a guy named Norman Doobie. I think that's how you say his last name. It's not like Doobie Brothers. He's a great poet. It's Norman Dubie. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation. Doobie. He's phenomenal. This is one of my favorite books of poetry. I've had it for a really long time. It's called Radio Sky, and it's really cool. I had Sam Pereira on the show a while back, who's also from a Fresno poet, and he heard me read a Norman Doobie poem once, and he says that they're good friends. So I'm going to read a Sam Pereira poem too, and I'm also going to talk about how we're all connected and how everything matters and counts. But this is the first poem I'm going to read tonight is by Norman, and it's called A True Story of God. Henry Thoreau is lost in the Maine woods at the center of the Black Pond, standing in an old town canoe. His arms are raised, welcoming a moose who is drunk with the methane of bottom grasses. The moose was, in fact, already fatally shot through the nostril by an Indian guide and companion to the transcendentalist traveler, now fainting back into his rented canoe that is gliding toward the floundering moose. The guide's knife has sliced off the upper lip of the creature as a delicacy for his woman. The long rubbery hairs of the lip will be burned away that night at the large campfire where Thoreau is brooding, telling himself that God is in nature and nature is in men. In that order, he thinks, lies the salvation of all animals who are placed closer to God than to humans. Humans who, while knowing they possess a soul, become useless and cruel. Thoreau jumps, the fat of the lip snapping from the flames like gunfire. Well, that's just a perfect poem, I think, as many of Norman's are. That's a true story of God. We are having dinner tonight. Melanie and Mary and I and our good friend Alexis was here, and we were talking about the show. And we said, what's the show going to be about? And I said, I think it's going to be about God. And we all laughed. And then we started talking about our experiences with church and religion and spirituality and God and these types of things. And everybody's got some kind of experience with it. And I for one, am not, I'm not opposed to the existence of a supreme being. I often thought I wanted to be a priest. But I don't know what I believe, if I believe in a God or not. But I feel pretty lucky to be around, and I think it's easier to believe in God when things are going well for you. But whenever I think of spiritual matters and I think of songs, I think of Cat Stevens, who somehow was able to write really cool songs about spiritual matters and in a real believable way. So I'm going to play this Cat Stevens song I really like. I've played it before. I'm having trouble getting the sixth string in tune, so if you hear it out of tune and buzzing, so be it. That's how it goes. I listen to the wind of my soul. Where I end up, well, I think only God really knows. I sat upon the setting sun, but never, I never wanted water once. Never. I listen to my words, but they fall far below. I let the music take me where my heart wants to go. I swam upon the devil's lake. Never, never, I never make the same mistakes. Never, never, never. There we go. I was struggling with that riff there. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, that's a great song. The other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about was I've been listening to, I know I always mention thanks. Oh, there's a cute picture of Mary Scout. She got, thanks, Melanie. She got her face painted on her birthday at Legoland. That was pretty fun. Melanie and I have been listening to this great podcast. I've been into podcasts lately, and I listen to them when I'm on the treadmill. And there's a cool one right now that we've been enjoying called I Was Never There. And it's about the disappearance of this woman back in the 80s. She was part of a counterculture group of people, and she ran a bar in West Virginia called the Underground Railroad, and she sold weed and had all kinds of communal things happening, and was a anti-establishment type of character, and very magnetic, and had a lot of friends, and a lot of people had a lot of punk bands, and was heavy in the important in the music scene. A lot of bands came through her place, but she disappeared sometime in the 80s, and it's a really compelling podcast, and we've been enjoying it. Melanie, if you come across the link, maybe you could put it up. It's called I Was Never There, and I've just been listening to I'm really interested in the 60s and 70s and 80s, the counterculture movement. There's some great stuff about the Weather Underground and all that. So I was going to play this Bob Dylan song. People, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to use was saving, you better start swimming or you sink like a stone, for the times they are changed. Writers and critics prophesize with your pen. Keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. Don't speak too soon, the wheel's still in spin. There's no telling who that it's naming. To lose him now, later win. For the times they are changing. Senators, congressmen, please heed the call. Stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall. For he who gets hurt will be he who has stalled. battle outside raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are changed. Your mothers and fathers throughout the land, don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters beyond your command. The old road is rapidly aging, so get out of the new one if you can't lend your hand, for the times they are changing. Strong, the curse it is cast. Slow and now will later be fast, and the present now will soon be the past. The order is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, and the first one now will later be last. First one now, later be last, for the times they are changed. It's kind of a... Oh, look who's here. Dawn. Aunt Dawn from Tennessee, all the way from Tennessee. Aunt Dawn. Good to see you. How is it out there? Are you having a good time? She's moved from New Jersey to Tennessee. After living in New Jersey your whole life, you've moved to Tennessee. I think that's really cool. I get the... I want to go live somewhere else lately. I get it. Anyway, that song, that Bob Dylan song, I've been trying to play it kind of a different way, and I really like that song. I think it's, especially ever since, it's easy to forget. I mean, that song's so, it's everywhere. You know, I mean, that song's such a part of our culture, and everybody plays it, and you've heard it a million times. But it's an interesting song, I think, especially as a parent. And somebody, you know, myself, who is always wanted to break the rules and live outside of society and do things differently. And I think that song still holds up and offers some pretty good advice. And I'm gonna read you a Philovine poem. Philovine from Detroit, and then taught in Fresno, at Fresno State for years and years, and created a band of disciples. Philovine changed my life when I started reading his poetry when I was living in Fresno, California, like so many other people. And she loves it. Great. Philovine changed my life, just like so many others in Fresno and around the world, really. I got a chance to, I'd get opportunities to hear him read, and once I'm never one to get a book signed or anything like that, but I got in line to have him sign one of his books that I owned after a reading, and I had all these things that I wanted to tell Philovine about how important he was to me, and I chickened out when I got to the front of the line. He had a very intimidating air, and I just handed him my book and walked away after he signed it. I think I was upset that I didn't say anything, but in retrospect, I'm glad I kept quiet. Seems like that's always the best way to go, is to just keep quiet, especially in my case. So I've made a vow to keep it short tonight. I'm going to try to stay about an hour, within the hour, so I'll try not to ramble too much. This is a poem by Phil Levine called A New Day. The headlights fading out at dawn, a stranger at the shore not wakening to the great sea, out of sleep and night and no sun rising where it rose before. The old champion in a sweatsuit tells me this is Chicago. This, he does not say, is not the sea, but the chopped gray lake you get to after traveling all night from Dubuque, Cairo, or Wyandotte. He takes off at a slow trot, and the fat slides under his shirt. I recall the Friday night in a beer garden in Detroit. I saw him flatten Ezard Charles on TV and weep and raise both gloved hands in a slow salute to a god. I could tell him that I could tell him that. I could tell him that those good days were no more and no less than these. I could tell him that I thought by now I must have reached the sea we read about. Or that last night I saw a man break down and cry, out of luck and out of gas in Bruce's Crossing. We collect, here at the shore, the two of us, to make a pact. A people come for a new world and a new home, and what we get is what we bring. A gray light coming on at dawn, no fresh start, and no bird song, and no sea, and no shore that someone hasn't seen before. If I were pressed to tell you how all of this stuff relates, I am not smart enough to tell you. I just feel it. I just feel all of these things connected. That's what do we got here. I never keep quiet. I'll pick up. You could start with this one. This one's called Not This Pig. And or, you could get like a selected poems, which is a collection of poems from many books. Anything like that would be great. What we get, right. Good, very good, Jason. That's the line, isn't it? That's the line. Right. I'm glad you guys got that. Totally. Yeah. I while I was reading that, I really don't know what I'm going to play next, but I was thinking about, and Soup, and Jason, we used to play this song all the time. I'm going to give it a try, I think. What's this, Mary Melanie? Yeah, we'll send you something, Aunt Dawn. Great. I think I'm going to try this one. It makes sense. What we get is what we bring. Talking about the counterculture, talking about God, talking about a new start. So I purposely didn't really... Sometimes I usually know exactly what I'm going to play. And this time I don't. And it's... Maybe it's for the best. I'm going to try this, and I might just botch it. But Jason, you'll remember this song. We used to try to play it all the time. And I'm not quite sure what key to do it in. This string doesn't want to tune. Okay. Oh, hey. Juan Chop is here again. Hey, man. He's helping me put my pedal board together. Juan, you'll know this one too, man. This is great. I won't do Freebird, buddy. F demolished. Definitely that will happen. But Juan, you'll remember this one too. I think you're the one that turned me on to Vic Chestnut. But I think I'm gonna try it since we have so many. And I think it fits, but I might botch you. No, that's not it. That's it. Okay, I think I got it. Newtown reeks of lumber. Newtown beat the crowds. Newtown kittens discover that the birds scrape the ground. Even the loneliest old ladies get social calls, where they dine and talk about their savior and the grassroots effort to incorporate elects a smiling mayor. Newtown Americana. Newtown rookie police. Newtown industries are wanted for the local employees, and the little bitty baby draws a nice clean breath from over his beaming mama's shoulder. He's staring at the worldly wonders that stretch just as far as he can see, but he'll stop staring when he's older. Ah, Newtown, Newtown, oh. And even the loneliest old ladies get social calls, where they dine and talk about their savior. Grassroots effort to incorporate elects a smiling mayor. Ah, Newtown, Newtown, Newtown. That's a Vic Chestnut song, and if you've never heard Vic Chestnut, you should. You should listen to Vic Chestnut. Let's see. I thought that one was for you for sure, Soup, and for my buddy Juan. About the choke. That's right. That was the record, man, and I believe you are the one that turned me on to that record. So Juan turned me on to a lot of good music. Yeah. We used to play all night and really upset everybody, didn't we? Well, that was part of the list of songs we were putting together. Soup, Jason, and this is another one. I'll play this one. I've played this one before, but now that we're strolling down memory lane, this was one, and I don't think I could play this one at the time. It could be argued that I still can't, but it's one of my favorite songs of all time, and I've spent my whole guitar playing life trying to play this song. it's kind of everything revolves around this, and then maybe I'll play another a Simon and Garfunkel song that is the other one. But let's try this one. Well, it ain't no use in sitting and wondering why, babe, if and you don't know by now. And it ain't no use in sitting and wondering why, babe, it'll never do anyhow. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason that I'm traveling on. Don't think twice, now it's alright. Well, it ain't no use in turning on your light, babe, a light I never know. It ain't no use in turning on your light, babe, I'm on the dark side of the road. I wish that there was something that you could do or say to help me change my mind and stay. But you never did too much talking anyway. Don't think twice, now it's alright. Well, it ain't no use in calling out my name, gal, like you never done before. It ain't no use in calling out my name, gal, I can't hear you anymore. Been thinking and wondering, walking down this road. I once loved a woman, a child, I'm told. I gave her my heart, but she wanted my soul. Don't think twice, now it's alright. So long, honey, baby, where I'm bound I can't tell. Goodbye is too good a word, babe, I'll just say fairly well. Now I ain't saying you treated me unkind. You could have done better, but I don't mind. You just kinda wasted all of my precious time. Don't think twice, now it's alright. Bob Dylan is, as most of you know, probably my favorite artist, and no, I couldn't play it at all in the late 1990s, and we were pretty drunk, and most of the time, Juan had, my buddy Juan Chapa, who's here, he had Bob Dylan's biograph, is that right? He had it on vinyl. It was a vinyl collection of a bunch of Bob Dylan songs, and it was sitting in his apartment on Maroa in Fresno, California. And I guess it was in the early 90s when I could finally hear Bob Dylan. I'm going to now read Sam Pereira, who lives in Los Banos in California, but was in Fresno, went to Fresno State, studied, is a poet from Fresno and California. I had him on the show a while back. I never knew Sam all this time. but he was in the same. He was being influenced and affected by the same group of writers, and he was alongside of them, writing right there with them. I never knew him. I've met him since now because of social media and finding my old English teacher, Marty Williams, the poet, Marty Williams, M.L. Williams, who was also on the show. I met Sam through M.L. Williams. Anyway, we're still talking about the same stuff, and meeting Sam has been a real joy, and he's an amazing writer. And if you follow him on Facebook, he posts a poem every day, a new poem, and it's really amazing. This is from a book called Cafe in Boca, which he sent to me. And I'm going to read you a poem in here that he wrote for Larry Levis. I need my glasses. This is called The Muscats Now Leaving Their Glasses, for Larry Levis. There has been a dead arrangement of burgundy flowers resting on my coffee table for just such occasions. They wink at the dust in the room once they know no one actually sees them. It is the modest chuckle of that which never lived, the dry laugh over the bodies of the good ones now gone. Those born with breath, say for instance me, admire the inanimate. Their snort at life will never be understood, but will always have our attention. This minute I am thinking how it took me over a year to cry when your former student, our friend Bowie, died from a stoppage of beat. I wrote him a poem then, largely about me. This will be no different, Larry. I animate, you see. I breathe and you don't. Were I wealthy, I would try driving a Porsche off one of the more spectacular spots on Highway 1. I would toast you with a glass of heady muscatel served in a dusty goblet. Being someone who no longer slugs back warm wines, I'd pour the scented grape into the dirt, making mud and not much else. It would be something like poetry. Dead, like the suffocating burgundy flowers on this table, like the dust surrounding what's become an almost extravagant wink of tears. That's Sam Pereira, who tunes in sometimes, and we've had him on the show, and that's a great poem. I'm going to finish the show tonight with a poem I wrote for Sam and for my wife. But I'm going to play a couple more songs, I think. And how's the connection? I noticed on my screen here it's a little funky. Was I losing you for a second? Is the connection okay? I hope we make it. We've got about 12 minutes left. I'm going to try to come in right around 9 o'clock. So if you're still with us, thanks for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. I was kind of playing around with this song. I think I'm going to try it. Oh, Sherry's here. Hi. Hi, Sherry. Connection's good? Okay. I'm seeing funny things on my screen here, but... Oh, hey, Alexis, is that right? Well, there you go. There's the presence of the God which we spoke of that doesn't exist right now. Hey, thanks, Joe. You got to check out Joseph's De Gaetano. Is that how we say your last name, Joseph? He's got a great Instagram page where he posts songs daily, different renditions of people's songs, and his own. Quite great. And our good friend Alexis is who I was just speaking about earlier. She was here at our house today, and we had a lovely day here at the Delgado household, and having her around made it even more so. It's always it's nice to have friends, and she's a good one. Thanks for coming, Alexis. I think I'm going to gonna do something ill-advised, since I'm really going out on a limb here tonight. Hey, Lisa. Thanks for tuning in. Lisa's from Fresno. We went to school together. Did you go to the reunion? There was a high school reunion. I wasn't invited. They know not to invite me, I think. I mean, I didn't go to school when it was in, so I wouldn't... Oh, right on. That's good. Okay, I'm glad I got it right. Oh, we went to... You didn't go to Fresno High, huh? Okay, I thought you did. Yeah, Tehipity, that's where it all went south for me, Lisa. I was scared every day at Tehipity. I'm going to try this Pink Floyd song. It's one of my favorite songs. And... I'm just gonna give it a try. I don't know why. When I was a young man, and Juan can attest to this. If you're still there, Juan, you'll remember back when VHS was popular, and you could rent VHS tapes. I would listen to the record The Wall. I probably had it on Pink Floyd's The Wall, and I probably had it on cassette. But what I would do is I would rent the movie The Wall, and I would just always rent it. And when it was due back, I'd take it back and then rent it again. And when I was living with Juan, when we were roommates, he would come home, and I'd be laying on the couch watching The Wall, and he was worried about me. He would say, "Not again. You can't be watching that again." And there I would be watching The Wall. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, and total stoner. But I just love Roger Waters' songs, and I'm going to try this. This is maybe one of my all-time favorites, and you could tell I'm nervous because I'm touching my nose more than usual. Black book with my poems in. Got a bag of the toothbrush and a comb in. When I'm a good dog, they sometimes throw me a bone in. Got elastic bands keeping my shoes on. Got those swollen hand blues. Got 13 channels of shit on the TV to choose from. Electric light, and I've got second sight. I've got amazing powers of observation, and that is how I know when I try to get through on the telephone to you, there'll be nobody home. I've got the obligatory Hendrix perm and the inevitable pinhole burns all down the front of my favorite satin shirt. Nicotine stains on my fingers. I got a silver spoon on a chain. Got a grand piano to prop up my mortal remains. Got wild staring eyes, and I've got a strong urge to fly, but I got nowhere to fly to. And ooh, babe, would you pick up the phone? There's still nobody home. Pair of Go Hills boots, and I got fading roots. Well, let's see. Hey, all right. Russ Little. Oh, man, that's one of my... Thank you. That's one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs. If you've never heard the album The Wall or haven't listened to it in a while, I urge you to do so. I'm going to play one more song. This is a song of mine off of my last... Well, 2 records ago, High in a Neon Dive. Since we've got so many, this is a song about Fresno, of course, and a lot of people I knew that I would suppose a lot of the people I ended up spending my time with, I would imagine they are no longer with us. You hear this in the program when you get into Alcoholics Anonymous or some kind of 12-step program, or when you get cleaned up, and they say that addiction leads to hospitals, institutions, and death. I think that's probably pretty right on the money, and most of the people I knew from my motel drive days, if they didn't get out and didn't get cleaned up, they're probably in one of those places. This is called the Boats in San Pedro Harbor. Hold on, I got an itch on my back. I won't make it through the song. Miles away, and the burning fever's gone from the heat waves and the freight train and time and space. Well, it turns and it teeters on, and the wheel takes slightly different turn away. Hey, what's that speed? She's traveling on. What's that sound that keeps her hanging all along by the freeways? What's that speed she's traveling on? What's that sound that keeps her hanging all along by the freeways and the freight trains? She stayed too long. She stayed too long. She stayed too long. I see I've gone over an hour. Well, I'm gonna read one more thing. I'm gonna read this new poem I've been working on, and judging by Melanie's reaction when she read it recently, I don't think it's done. But it's a good thing to do, to read things even while I'm working on them here on the show, because it's revealed as I'm reading it maybe what's wrong with it. But I read a San Pereira poem, a poet from my hometown who I'd never met. But we were all influenced, he and I and so many others, people I hadn't met, influenced by a lot of the same artists. My wife and I, Melanie in particular, is influenced heavily by some people she's never met, Jean-Michel Basquiat and Andy Warhol, and she's not alone there. Those two artists have influenced a lot of people's lives. It's interesting how you can go, certain people that you never meet influence you. My wife and I, Melanie and I, met when I was 40 years old. I'd never met her. There's a great Duke Ellington song called "I Didn't Know About You," and you can be somebody your whole life and then be somebody else, and then and we're influenced by so many different things, and we change and we become. You may want to be one thing, but really you end up being something else, and that could be okay too. I'm often noticed in town as somebody will say to me, "Hey, aren't you Mary's dad?" Or they'll say, "Hey, aren't you Melanie's husband?" And that's all right. That's pretty good. This is a poem called it's called "Upon Reading Norman Dubie," the poet I read first. Upon reading Norman Dubie, I feel compelled to write to Sam Pereira. It goes like this. My wife hates landscapes and long books. I imagine her rewritten as a dark-eyed junco in the snow under the shadow of a large spruce. Her wing extended, harboring a solitary fledgling, which is unusual. Thin legs of weeds and grass dangle from the point of her exquisite and delicate beak. In 1988, New York City is blue and orange and yellow and dead at dusk. A red-winged blackbird screams in the face of a bloated man in an Armani suit who just puked all over the sidewalk. Cardboard boxes melt in the rain, and dealers use the soused remains for shelter in Washington Square Park. Sam, I knew a Portuguese kid with a red birthmark that covered half his face. He was left-handed, uncoordinated, and had to fight practically every day because of the blemish. His father was a janitor, not a doctor, like he told us, and his mother was made of porcelain. Her brother was the poet Arthur Smith, and she would emerge from the dark corridors of their austere and sterile home wrapped in terry cloth and sit with her hands raised in a hello or a goodbye to let her newly painted acrylics dry and stare at the low coffee table where atop wrinkled stacks of Vogue sat a pristine, unread, signed copy of Elegy on Independence Day. In 1988, Fresno, California is bone white. A girl named Chelsea, a replica of Andy Warhol, sits in the last row of Dwayne Rail's poetry workshop, sniffing ditto sheets. She is the only poet in the room, aside from Rail, who teaches 3 things. Punctuality is overrated, the French inhale, and the existence of existential despair is real. How can you not shoot dope in the face of those stares at Mr. Chow's, knowing New York City cops are outside with bats and guns, drawn crudely over a mangled Michael Stewart? Inside, M's duck turns gray on the plate. Wherever you go, you don't want to be there. Sam, your forays into Eastern cuisine are a nice addendum to your daily verse. Marinated squares of tofu, ribbed seitan, faux duck, eggplant, and caramelized onions in a wok. Sam, how long since you smoked a camel, burned an all-nighter, or roasted your noodle the way we were taught to in the valley? My wife likes bok choy and steamed kale. Movies shot in the dark. Stories where the only thing that happens are lives slowly unraveling, loss after loss in the low light. The protagonist slowly giving in, one orange drink at a time, and fucking over that one true friend. The insoluble Harper Lee. She's watched, I know, Capote at least 63 times. My wife never lost a fight at Johnny's Tavern in Boonton, New Jersey, where the cops were just down there at the end of the bar, waiting for somebody they didn't like to leave. I like to imagine her pouring a full beer over the head of some loudmouth right before delivering a lethal elbow to the face, then looking around the room as it clears out to see who else is in need of punishment, who else has strayed from the path of decency and kindness. As an end to mass mindlessness and mediocre art, how about a pie in the face? Godard in the Chow line in New York City, Jean-Michel outside the gates of St. Anne's, Andy Warhol at the head of the table at Edie Sedgwick's place, the massive Polaroid obscuring his pockmarks and the flash illuminating the mirrored irises of the lost, who have missed the amuse-bouche, blowing lines in the John. Sam, what good is an education in the wee hours of the morning when you are busy speaking to the wind, carving out verse after verse into the maw of ether? Samo would dig the copyright symbol you place at the end to signify what's yours. After all, you earned it. Sam, I think one has to be a wolf to run with and eradicate wolves. It's in the running we recognize we are the prey, the straggler or the lost soul. It's in the tearing of the flesh of the weak we realize we are the weak. You can stay for dinner in the banquet hall only for so long, Sam, but the common folk need you to leave. Sam, I like to imagine my wife as a Luna wolf in the forest under the white moon, always changing, always waxing and waning, using her broad and coarse tongue to remove the blood from the matted fur of her solitary cub. Well, I made it through the poem without crying. Hey, Chelsea, what's happening? You and Dom are here with us? Sniffing did right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. I'm going to finish up early, like I promised. It's 1:11. It's the best I could do. Yeah, right. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for sticking around. Chelsea, thanks for coming. Thanks for you and Dom tuning in. Hey, Dom, what's up, man? All right, that's it. I don't know why I'm taking so long to say goodbye, but I had a really fun time. So thanks for being here with me, and we'll do it again next week. All right, see ya.